I always say, if you want to see the difference between socialism and freedom, just look at the Korean Peninsula at night. South Korea shines with opportunity. North Korea is trapped in darkness.
Now, that is how you shut down a debate. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are looking at a clip from the House floor that is quickly going viral. And honestly, it represents the absolute core of the political battle in America today. On one side, we have a career politician trying to convince you that basic economic freedom is somehow the enemy. And on the other, we have a woman who didn't just study history. Her family actually survived it. The contrast here is so sharp it'll give you whiplash. We're going to break down why this speech is a massive win for common sense, and why the establishment is so terrified of stories like hers. Before we roll the tape and react to the full back and forth, do me a huge favor. If you're sick of the spin and want more raw truth on your feed, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and drop a comment below letting me know where you're watching from. Let's watch the full video, and then we'll break down exactly why this matters. Alright, let's get right into it, because there is so much to unpack here that people are completely missing.
I wish we were here on the House floor this morning, debating solutions that would reduce grocery bills, lower housing costs, end Trump's tariffs strangling American small businesses and manufacturers, solve the Republican health care crisis, or any legislation that allows Americans to afford to live through the catastrophic economic policies of Trump and the Republicans. But instead of doing the work of our constituents desperately want us to do, Republicans in the House have chosen once again to advance a resolution under the guise of denouncing, quote, socialism. Let me be clear. This resolution is an embarrassing distraction from the complete and total failure of the Trump administration to deliver actual results for the American people. And the American people see right through it. 61% of Americans say that Trump's policies have worsened economic conditions in this country, quote unquote. And 64% of Americans say Trump policies are raising the prices of food and groceries. What's worse is that this resolution, this very resolution, goes further by using the specter of socialism to undermine some of the most important government programs in our country, like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and Obamacare, programs that help everyday Americans put food on their plate and care for their children. Republicans absurdly think they can convince Americans these programs that are decades old are leading America toward a Stalinist Russia, even though it is blatantly obvious that the policies of Donald Trump are straight out of a dictator's playbook.
A gentleman from Arkansas is recognized.
I thank the Speaker. I want to yield 2 minutes to the gentlewoman from California, who grew up, Mr. Speaker, in Korea, and as a young girl immigrated here to the United States of America. She knows the truth of post-war Korea and how challenging it was, and compared the Korea of her childhood to the Korea of today. Democracy, freedom, vigorous democracy, amazingly vigorous democracy in Korea today. But Ms. Kim is now the chairwoman of our Asia Pacific Subcommittee on Foreign Affairs. What a transition, and what a great voice to condemn socialism. I yield 2 minutes to the gentlewoman from California.
Lady from California is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. It's such an honor to stand here to strongly support the House Concurrent Resolution 9. As a Korean American who grew up in the aftermath of the Korean War, I have witnessed the horrors of socialism firsthand. I always say, if you want to see the difference between socialism and freedom, just look at the Korean Peninsula at night. South Korea shines with opportunity. North Korea is trapped in darkness. Time and time again throughout history, socialism has led to disaster, starvation, imprisonment, and the death of over 100 million people worldwide. My own family lived those horrors. My mother-in-law risked her life crossing the DMZ lines multiple times to rescue loved ones from the North Korean regime. To this day, tens of thousands of Korean families remain separated by a system that tears apart communities and crushes basic human dignity. Now more than ever, as socialist ideas gain traction here at home, and as our nation's largest city and financial capital has elected not just a socialist, but a communist as mayor, we must firmly demand our capitalist free market system, which empowers Americans of all backgrounds to achieve freedom, opportunity, and prosperity. I know what America represents because I remember my first glimpse of freedom as a young girl, looking up wide-eyed as U.S. soldiers tossed candy from their trucks. In the communities that I lived, today, as one of the first Korean American women to serve in Congress,
Time
that freedom tastes just as sweet.
Gentlelady's time has expired.
I yield the gentlewoman 30 seconds.
Stories like these can only happen in America. As a member of Congress, I will always fight for the American dream and for our free market system that keeps it within reach for everyday Americans. Thank you, and I yield my time.
First, let's look at the setup for Maxine Waters. She starts off by immediately dismissing a resolution to denounce socialism as a useless distraction and political theater. But think about the strategy there. Why try to deflect? Because when you can't win a debate on the merits of your ideas, you try to convince the audience that the debate shouldn't even be happening. Then she pulls out the oldest trick in the playbook, trying to claim that denouncing socialism is somehow a secret plot to dismantle Social Security and Medicare. Let's call that exactly what it is: fear-mongering. Hardworking Americans pay into those programs with their own hard-earned dollars through payroll taxes. It's a retirement contract, not a socialist handout. Conflating a system of earned benefits with state-controlled economic planning is incredibly misleading, and it's a massive insult to the intelligence of the American taxpayer. But then, the entire room shifts when Representative Young Kim takes the podium. This is what makes the clip so incredibly powerful. She doesn't rely on dry statistics or standard talking points drafted by a think tank. She brings the ultimate weapon to a political debate: undeniable personal history. When she talks about her mother-in-law risking her life to cross the DMZ to escape the North Korean regime, she completely takes the wind out of the opposition's sails. You cannot argue with lived trauma. You cannot tell an immigrant who watched her family escape a communist dictatorship that she doesn't understand the nuance of state control. And her point about the Korean peninsula at night, it is a masterful, devastatingly simple visual. If you've ever seen that satellite photo, it tells you everything you need to know about economics. South Korea is a brilliant grid of electricity, technology, and human achievement. North Korea is a literal black void of cold, dark silence. That isn't a theoretical argument. That is a real-world, physical demonstration of what happens when you let the government control every aspect of human life versus when you let people run free. What really resonates with me is how she wrapped up her time talking about her childhood memory of American soldiers throwing candy from trucks. To her, the United States was a literal beacon of hope. And today, she is standing in the halls of Congress as a lawmaker. That is the American dream in action. That is what capitalism, opportunity, and freedom can do. Watching the dismissive body language from the other side of the aisle while she shared her family's survival story tells you everything you need to know about the current state of Washington. One side wants to keep you dependent on the state, while the other is trying to defend the very ladder of opportunity that allowed an immigrant girl to rise to the highest levels of government. Young Kim absolutely owned the room, and she did it by simply telling the truth. But I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of Representative Kim's speech? Did her story hit home for you? Let me know in the comments below. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you on the next one.